Noel had to reset. And away we go. And this is Armstrong. And he will touch a knee, and Wake Forest will scrimmage from its 25. And here is our guy, James, gritty, gutty John Walford.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? He doesn't have all the superstar, the top billing that you get with a lot of these big-time quarterbacks in the ACC. But give me a John Walford any day. Just so gutty, so tough. Jen talked about sacks. When it comes to hits on a quarterback, he's got to be up there with those in the last few years too. You add in more than anybody in the nation, but he keeps on popping right back up and doing what's asked of him. He doesn't complain, he doesn't say boo, and he deserves a lot of respect here from this program.
That's Bachman in motion. The first down give is to Cade Carney, the true freshman from Advance, North Carolina. And he comes into the ball game, number 2 in rushing for the Deacons. Truman Goodapple, the stop for Boston College, and a look at our Toyota impact players when the Deeks have the ball.
Right. John Johnson, the defensive back, the safety, has been so good, and former cornerback, and he's got to keep the lid on. No big plays for either of these teams. They can't give them up because these are offenses that don't specialize in the big plays. We saw Cade Carney there on the first snap carry the ball. A true freshman, but he sure doesn't play like it. Very tough kid. He's got a bright future.
Serenay in the backfield. They'll hand it to Carney again. Marker down on the play as Cade Carney got a couple. Goodapple again, making his 25th straight start today for the Eagles.
Offside, defense, number 93, 5-yard penalty, second down.
Our referee, David Epperly, as assigned by the Atlantic Coast Conference. And Dennis Hennigan, the supervisor of football officials.
Kaepernick, he's wondering, hey, what's going on? I sure didn't feel offsides. They've got to be careful, though, both of these teams with the penalties. Wake Forest has done such an excellent job of keeping the penalties away.
A direct snap to Carney in the Wildcat, and Harold Landry got into backfield pretty quick, and then Kavalik, who you just mentioned a moment ago, James, is the guy with Milano that forces a loss of 1 and quickly third down.
Right back out there to make up for it. Milano. You know, we talk about Markel Lee, but shoot, Strahan, Schwab, and Milano, that linebacking unit for Steve Adazio's Boston College Eagles is a fun one to watch as well. It's been 2 fun defenses throughout the year, and let's see what we get on our first third down.
Landry at the bottom of the formation, who we spoke of at the top. Third down for the Deacons. Walford had it batted in the air and ultimately caught off the deflection by the left guard, Tyler Hayworth. Goodapple got a hand on it. And then the big lineman out of Kingsport, Hayworth got a hand on it, but couldn't do anything with it, and it's fourth down.
How about that on senior day? A reception for an East Tennessee boy. Kingsport Dobbin Bennett. Dobbins Bennett, look at him. Man, he should have played receiver. He looked smooth there, didn't he? Boy, that's Wake Forest lucky that ball hit the ground. Field position, turnovers. Huge things in today's game. And lucky they're punting this one away, and it didn't fall into the hands of a Boston College Eagle.
Maggio had an 80-yarder last week. Wind aided against Clemson. Rouse will wait on this punt. And from the 32 goes Tyler Rouse, 40. And into plus territory, and Rouse keeps his feet. Bounces around, and then the ball's out. And Wake Forest is recovered. Rouse had it punched out around the 37-yard line. And then it looked like Demetrius Kemp knocked it out. 34 got a hand in there to bang it out of there.
Oh, what a huge boost this is going to be to start this game for the Eagles. Look at Rouse go. He comes straight right back up the gut, and an excellent job to poke it away after a nice return. And this is one of the things that Wake Forest has to take care of, is the return game. Punt cover, kick cover. Boston College has been pretty good as of late, and they dodge another bullet there to get a fresh set of downs, and Walford and company back out there.
Charles Argenzio recovered the fumble, and now Walford going to throw, looking for Bachman, and almost intercepted. Item in coverage, number 20 for Boston College, playing that corner spot.
You hear coaches talk about all skills. This is what they're talking about. It's go up and it's timing, it's high pointing the football, it's looking it in, it's finding a way to make the catch, whether you're on offense or defense. Great ball skills have so much to do, not just the athleticism of being there, of being able to cover a guy, but that ball should have been intercepted.
They try and give it to Carney, flags down. He's taken down in the backfield. Zach Allen, number 2, and then Noah Merritt, who defensive coordinator Jim Reed spoke of in our visit this week, James, as being one of those kind of understudy guys that's made his junior season count.
Chop block on the offense, number 65 and number 70, 15-yard penalty, second down.
So Ryan Anderson and Josh Harris on the chop block.
Either way, Noah Merritt, Paul Pasqualoni, the new defensive line coach for Steve Adazio, he has coached so many great ones, and it shows with the way his guys have played throughout the year. Remember, Boston College, they're just right now looking for win number 6 maybe as a team, but defensively, it's not their fault. It started with the defensive line. They have been much improved up front from an already great defensive front.
Walford hit as he throws and intercepted on the fly. John Johnson comes away with his 3rd pick of the year after Harold Landry hit Walford.
You want to see a great first step? Watch Harold Landry break through this gap. It comes inside, and Walford throws it right up there, and there's our guy John Johnson, this senior, the safety, former cornerback. It's his 3rd pick of the year. How about this? This is just what you needed for an offense that has trouble moving the length of the football field, knocking on the door first time they get a shot.
Little counter, here's John Hilleman picking up a yard or 2 on just a simple dive play. Hilleman, of course, who was injured early last season, James, sophomore redshirt, Plainfield, New Jersey, is the power back of the 3 we'll see today line up for Steve Adazio. And a red zone opportunity for Boston College. The Eagles have got 78% scoring, but that's only 12th in the ACC, 107th nationally coming in. 3 tight ends now, James, in this set. And Miles Willis with Davis in the Wildcat. And here goes Davis, or Smith, beg your pardon. Jeff Smith, the wide receiver and former quarterback, brought down at the 5. It'll be 3rd down.
Well, getting creative, getting the ball in the hands of number 6. Wildcat jet sweeps, throwing it to him now. He's the guy that can make it happen, and almost with that spin gets past the tackler and into the end zone. Nice pickup, but it is a 3rd down and short. They can get a 1st down inside the 2. Boy, would they like to stick it in the paint right here, though, and get on the scoreboard first.
3rd different back in as many snaps. Here's Tyler Rouse in the backfield, James, with Tolles. Tolles to the end zone. Up top, looking for the tight end, or Charlie Callanan. His big wide receiver at 6'4" and 240 pounds, and BC turned away on the touchdown throw.
Well, and the heat was on. Lee coming off the edge. Here you see the pop that he gets from Lee. Tolles forced to rush it, throw it a little bit high, but good coverage underneath. And so the defense stands after the big sudden change, the interception thrown by Wolford.
22-yard try for Mike Knoll, who's 10 of 11 this year. And the kick is away and good. So the interception by Johnson cashed in for 3 points. And Boston College, off a shutout win over UConn, has drawn first blood in Winston-Salem. Well, here's Knoll's kick toward Armstrong. And Wake Forest will again scrimmage from its 25-yard line. Let's get James Bates's Ford keys to the Eagles and Deacons here today in Winston-Salem.
Honk, honk, little Thanksgiving theme for you. It's not very Thanksgiving-ish to not share, but that's what Boston College can't do. We saw Rouse cough it up. Turnovers are going to be such a huge part of this game. They've got to hold on to the ball and steal a few. Wake Forest, Thanksgiving weekend specials. I'm not talking about sales, I'm talking about special teams. And we've already seen it almost bite them in a big way. If it wasn't for the forced fumble, it would have been a great return by Rouse. They've got to take care of the special teams. Too many punts blocked, too.
Matt Colburn, best offensive play so far in 3 possessions for the Deacs, gets 6 yards on first down. Connor Strahan, junior middle linebacker on the stop. There's big 13 out of Wellesley.
You know, interesting, in the 5 wins here this year for Boston College, they've held their opponents to under 50 yards rushing. They've been so strong against the run. We've already seen, you know, from Landry to Noah Merritt to Zach Allen, just how bursty they are up front. They're also very physical, too.
Colburn again on the mesh from Walford, and he'll push it to the 34, leave them 3rd and a yard to go, Jen.
Well, as you guys said, turnovers already rearing their ugly head early in this game. They certainly played a part last year. 7 turnovers total in the game between these two teams. Wake Forest forced 4. That's not something they did very often last year. Different story this year. This is a point of pride, and it's a huge point of emphasis for this Wake Forest team, the way that they force turnovers. Plus 10 coming into this game, that leads the ACC.
Deacons 36% on the year coming in. Just 2 of 15 last week, and will be held short here. Kavalik at the defensive end spot hurtled in to make the play on Carney. And it's 3rd and a full 1, and the Deacons will punt. They have gone 3 and out twice, James, and went 4 plays and then had the interception. So they've run only 8 plays from scrimmage in 3 possessions.
Kavalik, just, I mean, these defensive linemen are fun to watch. They're good with their hands. They cover ground. Here it's a punt safe look for Boston College, guarding against a fake. Remember, they've had 3 punts blocked.
Rouse to his left and signals 4 and makes the fair catch at the 21-yard line. And that's where BC will get started. Deontay Austin was bearing down on Tyler Rouse. Eagles lead 3-0. Wake Forest trailing 3-0, and BC's field general is the Kentucky grad transfer Patrick Tolles, James.
Yeah, 1 and done for him, and you know what? They finally feel like he had his most consistent game in the win, 30-0 last weekend over UConn. The thing that he did best, though, was he was more decisive when it was time to tuck the ball and run. Too many times this season he's been indecisive back there, just waited an extra beat, and something you can't do when you don't have the quick twitch that, you know, guys like Lamar Jackson and guys that are used to really tucking it and going, like John Wolford even on the other side. A big body guy, 6'5", 253-pounder.
I enjoyed our visit with Scott Leffler, the offensive coordinator this week, talking about the dynamics of the offensive system he worked in at Kentucky and the one he's working in now, too. Nothing on first down for Hilleman. Now Willis in the ball game for BC in the running back spot. And the ball got fumbled. It'll be a loss of 5 back to the 16 as Miles Willis, the senior from Conyers, Georgia, and the Marist School just fell on him. And how about our Toyota Impact players when BC scrimmages?
Well, for Boston College, it's wide receiver. It's do everything. Jiffy Jeff Smith, the former quarterback, has some big playability to him. They've just got to get creative and get him the football, because Wake Forest knows that too. And guys like Jabari Williams over there, it's good to see him healthy. The junior linebacker, he's the next guy in line. You went Chubb to Lee, and now he'll be a senior next year out of Deerfield Beach, Florida.
That's Smith in motion to the top of your screen. 3rd and 15, and Tolles loads it up, takes the shot, and Smith can't hang on. He had gotten behind Amari Henderson, the corner. Throwing with the wind was Patrick Tolles, but that looked like a ball Smith could have had, James.
Yeah, it really did. You know, and it's a team, it's funny. Both these offenses, the big plays have been few and far between. And when you get used to making those big plays, it just seems like that it just happens. But it's just not happening right now.
Dangerous Jesse Bates is going to wait on this punt, signals 4, and makes the fair catch, backing up toward the 37-yard line.
Both the Tigers and the Hokies.
Our conference leaders brought to you by Valero, and here's John Walford doing what he does. Into Boston College territory goes Walford to the 28-yard line before the safety John Johnson stops him after a 35-yard run.
Jen talked about it off the top. Wasn't healthy enough to play last week. A design quarterback run behind a pulling Matt Anderson. Tucks it when he gets in trouble. Remember, he went 60 yards against Virginia, a big play touchdown against them. Boy, trying to find something, some way to make big things happen, and that's a great big play for him to flip the field, if nothing else.
That's Colburn, the sophomore from Irmo, South Carolina. A former Mr. Football in the Palmetto State who comes in as Wake's leading rusher at 528 yards. Tell you what, John Walford is as tough as a pine stump, Bates. I mean, really is.
Yeah.
Just keeps giving it to you as much as he can. He's supposed to be banged up. Nowhere near 100% according to his coaches.
He's just a great competitor.
Now dancing in the pocket, he will throw it over the top of Tabari Hines. And also down there was Devin Pike, the second tight end, was Serenay in the Wake attack. And now all of a sudden, 3rd and 8 for Clawson's Deacons.
Yeah, you talk about injuries, and of course Walford's had his fair share, but Cam Serenay is one that you forget. It hasn't been 100% much of this year, his junior season. Unfortunately for him and this Wake Forest team, he's got another year next season. But man, everybody expecting great big numbers out of him. That's him in motion right now.
Here is Colburn fighting through, trying to get the first down, and it'll be close. John Johnson the stop at safety.
Sometimes when you're so quick off the spot up front, you get too much penetration. If the play called up against you hits in the right spot, that's where you can burn them for the big play. That's where on the quarterback draw with Walford, they hit the big play. And here's a nice gainer here from Matt Colburn. You know, both Carney and Colburn are fun to watch. Colburn, a sophomore, he's got that low center of gravity, tough to bring down, and very bursty as well.
And this is close. David Epperly going to have to count the chain links. And Wake Forest brings Charles Argenzio, Chuck Wade into the game. The Deacons are going for it. Boston College gets everybody on the line. Walford will try and sneak. He won't get that, James. Knocked back to the 19 was Walford on the quarterback sneak. And BC turns away Wake Forest.
Boy, that's
Zach
pretty.
Allen, the first guy there, number 2.
That's pretty. That is a, you know, growing up in a house with a defensive coordinator for a dad, you know, just low pad level, getting off the spot, bursting, getting underneath. I mean, it's like a big fist fight. Just watch them there in the trenches. Look at all the gold hats. That initial wave, they're back there as soon as Walford's getting that ball, and there's no question that he's not going to get it. Sometimes it's kind of iffy, we got to wait and see. There's no question, no doubt about it, who won that one-on-one battle up in the trenches for a big 4th down stop. Huge play for the defense.
Absolutely. Boston College from its 19. Davon Jones is coming to game at one of the running back spots. And a pass to the far side, and that's Jeff Smith, the wide receiver. His first catch of the day. Smith comes in. That's his 23rd grab of the year. Michael Walker leads him in receptions.
Here's Jeff Smith up top, just a simple little hook up. And a nice gain and positive yardage, staying on schedule, staying ahead of those sticks is so big.
Took 3 series. We've seen all 4 running backs already for Boston College. And here is Davon Jones, and he got hit right at the line by Grant Dawson, the linebacker.
Any chance that Grant Dawson has been given, he's made the most of it. I mean, here's a guy, a local kid, that walked on. Boom, back there in a hurry, just a sound player. Good linebackers, just a junior. He'll be stepping up and filling in for the absence of Markel Lee next year as well. He had that big lick on 4th and 1 at Indiana to help him get that big win against the Big Ten team earlier this year.
Willis in the backfield with Tolles. 3rd and the full 4. Tolles in trouble, and he'll be sacked. Markel Lee, Julian Jackson got to the BC quarterback.
Tolles is a big body. He can make some of the throws, but he's not a guy that's going to make enough guys miss. When you bring the blitz and they get the heat there, it's going to be really tough for him to break free.
Noel hammers that. Jesse Bates wants to play. Fumbled the ball! And if the Eagles recovered it, Wake Forest gives it right back again. Third turnover in this opening period. Miles Willis knocked it loose. And Boston College gets it back, and the recovery to Connor Strahan, the linebacker. 55-yard punt.
You see Dave Clausen obviously upset, especially, you know, the turnovers in a game like this with defenses like this. Miles Willis doing a great job of flying down there, putting his hat right on the ball. And Bates has had a phenomenal year, not only as a safety, but as a return man. Boy, the special teams, again, just really hurting Wake Forest here lately.
Toss to Jones. And Davon Jones will pick up 2 to the 23. These two teams, Batesy, geared up, engineered by defense and special teams.
Well, and you know, and that's the thing about it. That's anytime you have a great defense, you're giving yourself a chance, because great defenses, they create turnovers. They give you the ball and give your offense the ball and give you a chance.
Second down and 8. Rouse is coming in now as the running back. Play fake Tolles, rips it across and beyond the reach of Charlie Callanan. That big wide receiver. He's listed as a wide receiver, James, but he's almost like an H, it looks like. He'll line up in the backfield occasionally.
Well, and this is just uncalled for. I mean, it's, you know, it's a play fake to really to nobody, and it's the easiest throw in the book for a quarterback. His big man Callanan, you're talking about it. It's not like the linebacker was dropped so deep that he had to put it over his head. I mean, that right there, kind of in a nutshell, is when you look at a defense that's played so well, why they've struggled offensively.
Dumping out in the flat here is Walker. And he will clear the mark for the first down inside the 15 to the 13. Michael Walker, a 6-foot sophomore from Naples, Florida. And that's his 30th catch of the year, which leads BC.
Yeah, top receiver, getting it to him. Look at the big blocks down the field. Good job by Montero. Walker had an uncle, Pete Walker, played Major League Baseball for over 10 years. And if I'm not mistaken, he's still the pitching coach with the Blue Jays.
Hillemans come back in on a fresh set of downs for Boston College. And Tolles to keep it. Brought down after a gain of 2, maybe 3. James, we had the 3-0 game a year ago, and yes, the last 100 seconds were off the hook. But it's eerie how this ball game has started with some of the characteristics that we saw last year at Chestnut Hill with these two schools.
Of that sloppy fourth quarter. You know, and here we are this deep into the season, and you like to think that those mistakes don't happen, but at the end of the day, it's football, and it's college kids playing football, and these are two head coaches that I have a lot of respect for, and they preach those fundamentals, but things happen. I mean, look at where Miles Willis put his hat on that Jesse Bates return. Right on the ball, pops out. Can't control it.
And here goes Willis, James. He'll cut back and score. Miles Willis into the end zone, and it's his first rushing score of the year on an 11-yard run.
I believe it's going to be Rouse, the pit bull. Nice lead block out there. There's Montero again, and that's smooth sailing for the guy who got this drive started with the big turnover on special teams, and Miles Willis.
And the point after by Noel is good. And Boston College cashes in. All 10 of their points have come on the 2 Wake Forest turnovers. And Willis in the end zone. War Eagle out of Marist School in Atlanta, Miles Willis makes it 10-0 Boston College. And with 1:19 to go, the Deacs will scrimmage off their 25 after the kick by Noel. And our ACC college football telecast made possible by our great friends at Works. The switch driver helped the great Joe Bowie get ready to bring you the broadcast here today. And old Joe going to work there, James.
It's just that easy. It's always work season for Joe Bowie.
Absolutely.
Oh, look at it. He's got a Band-Aid on his hand. I wonder what happened to Joe Bowie's hand.
Attaboy, Joe. Happy Thanksgiving to you and our great crew. We welcome you to Winston-Salem.
He looked just like one of the girls from The Price is Right there.
Here's a slant, and that's Cortez Lewis, the sophomore redshirt, hauling in a laser from Walford against Cameron Moore, the corner of the Eagles.
Look at this. Nice big body, Cortez Lewis, 6'1", 210. Just a sophomore, walling off the defender. And on the money there for him is Walford.
Carney, and a couple yards before the gold helmets are there for Boston College. Strahan, Zach Allen. Boy, I'm impressed with number 2 for the Eagles, James. Zach Allen. He gets around the football in a hurry, doesn't he?
Yes, sir. Look at Steve Adazio, knows how important this game is for his crew, Wes.
Yep.
I mean, that win number 6. Chance to go bowling and a nice start for them. See if they can get off the field here on 3rd down.
Wake hitless on 3rd so far, 0 for 3. Walford back near side. Catch is made. That's Chuck Wade, who we played high school ball with at John Walford at Bishop Kenny in Jacksonville.
Here, Wade runs that route just at the sticks. John Johnson late on the coverage. He brings him down, but the damage is done.
Walford and the Deacons in a hurry up. He slings it to Carney now. And that'll get us to the end of the first period. Deacons have picked up a first down, but they trail Boston College on senior day here at BB&T Field by a score of 10-0. Second quarter from Winston-Salem coming up next.
They'll have to do a better job of holding on to the football.
Walford, who's completed a couple passes in the drive, will tuck it away. It'll be 3rd and about 2.5. And Harold Landry, number 7 for Boston College, off the bottom of the stack there.
Well, nowhere to run. Number 7's down there. Eventually, he's gonna find a way to come down and get you, even after a little bit of a hold. You know, he covers so much ground. That big first step. He's just such a. You don't want to say strider because you don't really think a strider's going to be quick twitch and get there in a hurry, but he's kind of all the above. Such a fun athlete to watch.
You were kind to say a little bit of a hold, weren't you?
Yeah, you know what? Justin Heron. He
kind of a grab, wasn't it? Here's Walford, bailing from the pocket. Tried to cut it back inside to Bachman. And incomplete. And the Deacons will have to punt. James, we were excited to see Harold Landry live. And I know why people like this first step. We heard about first step and hands. And I know you always say the hands are really underappreciated by most people who watch the game because of how valuable they are to defenders.
Right, you have no idea how much time is spent with hand positioning. And just, you know, I mean, a lot of teams will even bring in martial arts experts to help them with the hands. And it's one thing that all the greats do. DeMarcus Walker, we saw him at FSU on the hoof early in the year. Juan Price is great with them at Pitt as well.
And they hang it up. Rouse will let it hit, and it'll skip into the end zone. And that will send us to a timeout. Boston College will play from its 25. Eagles pitching a shutout. Beautiful day on campus in front of the Wake Chapel. Outstanding ACC football crew. Wes Durham with you. That is Tommy Sweeney, the tight end, in motion, and Tolles looking to throw. And off the hands of Sweeney. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Tommy Sweeney kind of coming into his own at 7 catches and a touchdown in the win at NC State earlier this year.
They've had some injuries at tight end as well, and they've still got some good ones. Sweeney with the 5 catches in the big upset of NC State a few weeks back. Just a sophomore, a lot of young pieces, especially at that tight end spot. Going to help him for many years.
And to Hillman. And John Hilleman picks up about 4. It'll be 3rd and 6. James, you mentioned the tight end situation. They were really excited about Christian Garrison. He had a great effort in the opener at against Georgia Tech in Ireland. He got hurt in the UMass game and has not been able to come back.
Well, and the thing that they like about him and they like about Sweeney is they can do more than one thing with him. You know, you take a guy like Cam Serenay, who was always a great route runner, but he started to get better as a blocker. So now you send him in on a 3rd down and short situation, similar to this, and matching him personnel-wise. What do? Are they going to run it with him, or are they going to pass it? You got to match him personnel-wise. It makes it tough.
BC 1 of 4 on 3rd down. Tolles bails out. Now we'll throw back, and Callanan and Smith were both in the neighborhood, and so was Jesse Bates for Wake Forest, who's had a nose for the football. He's got 5 picks and 2 touchdowns this year.
His first coming in the homecoming for Batesy of Indiana. Big score, help him in that game.
Noel will punt it to Jesse Bates, and a fair catch call for at the 35-yard line. So that's where Wake Forest will take over. Special day for the Deacons, not only for their seniors, but for this gentleman right here. A fixture around Wake Forest football, both as a player and later as a coach and administrator, Bill Faircloth, who went out today breaking the gate with the Deacon, and he's with Jen Hildreth.
Thanks, Wes. Yeah, pretty special day here for Coach Faircloth, and your 451st consecutive game, is that correct?
That's right. I've been very fortunate. Great place to work, and I've worked under about 5 coaches, and this is just a great day in my life.
Well, we had a chance to talk to Coach Clausen yesterday. I asked him about you. We'll see what this play is. Here, hang on 1 second.
It's a big catch by Alex Bachman down to the near sideline. There's a flag on the play. So hang on, Jen, with Coach Faircloth. Isaac Yiadom was there defending for Boston College. Let's check with David Epperly on a 37-yard completion.
You know, it's interesting because Yiadom is playing catch-up the whole time, has his head down, and it almost turns into a push-off by Bachman. I wonder if they'll call it that way.
Pass interference on the offense, number 17, 15 yards, 1st down.
Good eyes, Batesy.
Well, you know, it's a shame because he had him beat. Finally, the catch-up, and a good job by Yiadom to do just that, to catch up, but Bachman having to come back for it, just trying to buy himself a little bit of space, and it appeared to the officials as a push-off.
Dave Clausen not happy. Deacons will scrimmage back at their 20. So now 1st and long, 25 for the Deacons. Carney's in the backfield. And Kate Carney finding the road, tough to handle there. Ty Schwab the stop. Jen with Coach Faircloth. Jen, thank you.
Yes, he was very patient to wait here for us after that play, but I was going to ask you, everyone that I've talked to here just talks about how special it is to be able to interact with you and what you've meant to the program. What has this program meant to you in all your 38 years you've been here?
It's meant everything. It's just to be around these young guys and talk to them, and it keeps you young, and this is where I went to school, and I always wanted to come back, and I got that opportunity, and I've stayed.
How about that motorcycle ride? That doesn't ever get old, does it? Getting to open the gates as you did today?
That's great. I really love it, and it's quite an honor. But I've been blessed.
Do you have a favorite moment from all your time here?
My favorite moment was when we won the ACC championship game. That was my really favorite moment.
Well, and now it's time to go, huh? Now's the time?
I'll be around.
All right. Well, thank you so much for everything. Wes?
Harold Landry, the sack of John Walford as we rejoin you from upstairs. And, boy, Landry is impressive, James. This time off the left defensive end spot, loss of 9.
We've seen him do it all. We saw him earlier come from the right side, splitting the gap, that initial burst. Here he shows you he can get around the edge. already with 12 sacks, 3rd in the NCAA, and putting the heat on him one more time. What a huge penalty, though, for a Wake Forest team that finally seemed to have their big play to Alex Bachman, only to come back, and now you got a 1st and 25. What are you going to do?
Maggio gets a big bounce. Rouse tries to run it down, juggles it, and from the 20 won't get much more. Well, 10.5 minutes to go. Our Toyota tweet of the week, by the way, regarding Coach Faircloth, comes from the legendary voice of the Deacons, Stan Cotton. Said the best stat from their loss to Clemson, 450 straight Deacon games for Coach Bill Faircloth. What a great man. Congratulations, sir. Back to Winston after this. 10-0 Boston College. Early here in the second period, about 10.5 to go in Winston-Salem. And coming up on Thursday around the Regional Sports Network, ACC All Access, Olivia Harlan host. And the commissioner, John Swafford, will join us ahead of the title game next Saturday night in Orlando. That's on this week's edition of ACC All Access. BC from its 21 on its 6th possession of the first half. And Davon Jones, the running back. And he will get the call for 3 yards. Right up the middle, Markel Lee making his 36th and final regular season start for the Deacons. The stop.
Well, Davon Jones is interesting. We've seen, as you mentioned, quite a few of the backs there, and all of them doing something a little different. And everything's different for Davon Jones, the redshirt freshman who had never played running back ever. A lot of guys played it in high school. He didn't even play it in high school before moving over in the spring.
Just 101 yards between the two schools, and here is Sweeney, the tight end, took a big lick, but he'll have enough for the first down beyond the 31. Cameron Glenn, who did not play after being shaken up against Virginia.
They've had some injuries in the secondary, Jambion and company, and Glenn tries to go a little bit low, ends up being shoulder to shoulder. Big bruiser. Well, no rest for the weary, but a good job by Sweeney to get upfield and move those chains. First downs been hard to come by for both these offenses here lately.
Play fake on first down. Sweeney again, another catch. And he will squeeze it upfield for a couple of yards. Markel Lee and Demetrius Kemp on Big Tommy Sweeney. 6'5", nearly 260 is the redshirt sophomore Sweeney out of Ramsey, New Jersey.
You're gonna see Tolles kind of double pump here, and you know, and what that does, he pumps, brings all the attention there at Sweeney, and then he ends up letting it go. I thought maybe it was because the defensive lineman was up in his face, but he just kind of double clutched, and so they get a couple out of it nonetheless. Good coverage by Wake Forest. Long
throw that time and incomplete. Ejiofor may have gotten a hand on it. Headed to the far side. Yep, sure did.
Ball thrown behind receiver, and you know, and we saw what would have been a touchdown earlier, the miss on a wide open receiver coming across the middle on a slant. These throws, the receivers, when their guys are there, you got to hit them. And you got a 3rd down and 7 against the defense. Looks like they're showing blitz, so they'll back out.
And thrown behind Smith, incomplete. So Boston College is now 1 out of 6 on 3rd down today, James. And that'll bring Knoll on to punt to Bates. Now, if you're Boston College, you better be careful of number 3 down here in the black hat. You're punting into the wind now, too. There'll be no return on a ball fair caught at the 29. 37-yard punt. 10-0 our score. We move along. Second period in Winston-Salem. John Walford and the Deacons go to work from their 29, trailing 10-0. Looking to throw. Tees it up deep for Lewis, and he couldn't hang on. Cameron Moore was there for Boston College.
Wolford, a nice throw, but even better coverage by Cameron Moore. Cameron Moore keeping a feel on that body so there's not too much space. And a ball that ends up in the hands of Cortez Lewis, but Moore raking it away before he can pull it all the way in and secure it. Good defensive play by the junior corner.
Here is Walford on the keeper. And to midfield goes John Walford. Two best offensive plays today for Wake Forest have been John Walford runs.
And Ryan Anderson makes this happen, Wes. He's had his hands full trying to deal with Harold Landry from time to time. But watch Big 70 here. Create that wall. A good job by Serenay blocking down the field. That's how the big plays come, by guys hustling and working hard down the field. Gets a big block from 70 and 85 there to get to midfield.
He's got 50 yards on 5 carries and a little play fake here on first down. Now in trouble, and he'll be sacked by Strahan. And a flag down in BC territory, kind of in the secondary, if you will, and that might be a hold on Boston College.
Holding on the defense, number 28, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Matt Milano, the linebacker, James.
Boy, it's unfortunate for Boston College because it wasn't really going to matter. That pressure came in that second wave, and I guess they're calling it on 28. Milano underneath on Serenay, but getting mixed up with Bachman and the defender as well. But a fresh set of downs nonetheless for Wolford and his crew.
That's Colburn. And Strahan wrestles him down at the 33. Approaching 7 minutes to go first half, Jen.
Well, you guys talked about Cam Serenay blocking on that big run by Wolford, and that's certainly been more of his role this season. I mean, this is a guy who set the record as a freshman the single season for receptions by a tight end. He had 54 2 years ago. This year had just 21 coming into this game, but he understands his role had to change a little bit as this team had to run the ball more, and they've had success because of it.
Yeah, Janet, when he has been healthy, teams have locked up on him, double coverage.
And Walford that time. Harold Landry got him again, James.
Here he is right here, Harold Landry, working on Ryan Anderson. And Phil Haynes ends up trying to get in the mix, but it's tough to get a paw on Harold Landry. He's listed at 6'3", 253 pounds. And how did this kid from North Carolina get out of here and get up to Boston is what I want to know.
Little mesh again. Colburn trying to fight back toward the first down mark. And it'll be fourth and a couple. How about Mike Elko's story yesterday, the Wake Forest defensive coordinator, when they were making the move from Bowling Green out of the MAC to Winston-Salem. And now here's Wake Forest hustling to the line here. Deacons in a hurry now, see if they can get this converted. Walford in trouble, bail out and drop. That was Colburn, who had some room working against Schwab, the linebacker. But Milano was pressuring the Wake quarterback, James.
Boy, they were over the ball in a hurry. Went for it on 4th and inches earlier and couldn't get it. The pressure's there. And a good job by Wolford to get it up there and present it to Colburn, where he's got to make this play. I mean, those are the plays that win or lose a game for you, and a tough one for Colburn, but man, he's got to make that catch, and he knows it.
So the Deacons give it away on downs, and Boston College will have it at its 32 now with 5.5 minutes to play.
You notice they didn't want any part of that, trying to go muscle to muscle with that defensive front on a 4th down and short again. Look at the total yardage. The Deeks with 100, but trailing by 10.
Little double reverse. Here is Smith. Needs a block. Took the outside half. And he will pick up about 6 yards, maybe 7 on first down. And that is the 27th carry of the year for Jeff Smith, who also plays a little quarterback in a Wildcat set. And Tolles is actually coming out of the ball game here.
He may do just that. Maybe a snap to Smith here.
Yep.
And I like the play call of a reverse after a sudden change on a fourth down stop. Nice gain of 7.
Miles Willis with him. Smith will keep it. And brought down at the 39.
Number 6, Jeff Smith with the keeper.
3 shy of a first down. Tackle made by Jesse Bates.
Third down, Boston College.
Boston College 1 of 6 on third down. BC's 10 points are off 2 Wake Forest turnovers. Both in the first quarter. Mike Knoll a 22-yard field goal, then Miles Willis an 11-yard run. That's Smith in motion. He and Sweeney on the near side. Inside, the pass is complete, and that's Callanan.
Pass is complete to number 83, Charlie Callanan.
That's enough for the first down at the 44, James.
Yeah, Charlie Callanan listed as a receiver. He's not going to run by everybody on the field, but one thing that he does do is he runs those routes, and he's got that big old body, 240-pounder, and he can wall them off in a situation like that. The quick slant, they just needed a couple. They get a couple extra and a fresh set of downs. Nice play.
Martin has come in at the fullback spot ahead of Rouse, and Toll's in trouble, and he'll be sacked. And that is Thomas Brown, the senior from Evans, Georgia, with his second sack of the day, or second sack of the year, and Wake Forest gets the Tolls.
Watch Tolls. See how long it's like an extra beat for him to turn around and get his eyes downfield. And Thomas Brown's a very good blitzer as it is. He's a former safety. Good timing and a good job beating Martin, who you mentioned just came into the game, and a nice drop. Get a little bit of that momentum back on the side of Mike Elko's defense.
2nd and 15. Too tight set here for Boston College. Tolls wants to throw. Smith on the backside and to the 45.5, 46-yard line there. Bates again, the redshirt freshman. Fort Wayne, Indiana, is got a very bright future in this league. There is a marker down at the line of scrimmage, and referee Epperly.
Ineligible downfield on the offense, number 89, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
3rd penalty on Boston College.
Calls that on Sweeney, who's a tight end.
James, by the way, Boston College won the toss and deferred. They'll get the ball to start the second half here, which maybe even adds a little bit of a premium to this possession for Coach Adazio.
Well, absolutely. If nothing else, just be able to milk that clock a little bit and get a good punt down there, and a Wake Forest team that's had a tough time moving the football.
False start, offense, number 74, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Jimmy Lowry is a grad transfer from Eastern Illinois. This is his 37th career start at both institutions.
Well, must have been before that.
Maybe a little rock?
Adazio, he likes having those big graduate transfer tackles come in there. You know, when he first got there, I think his whole offensive line was a bunch of graduate transfers. Matt Patchen and company.
And that is Hilleman. So back to the 32, and it'll be 3rd and very long.
Wake Forest has got the 3 timeouts left, and they stuff them here, which you'd like to think a 10-point lead and a chance to take that into the halftime locker room. Adazio, you're going to get, another draw type of play, and maybe a screen, but nothing too scary where you got a chance to turn the football over. You've got to secure the ball, punt it away.
And Hilleman can't get started.
Now they want a timeout.
John Baker, the center, got knocked back. And Dave Clawson will use the timeout with under 2 minutes to play. And we'll take it with him here in Winston-Salem. Eagles still pitching a shutout, late first half. 137 points in a football game.
James Conner has about 10 threes by now. What is that?
That's a football score. By the way, Pittsburgh has run just 56 plays in the game unofficially. Syracuse has run 106 plays from scrimmage.
Wow.
By the way, most points allowed by Syracuse since 1891. November 11th, 1891, one day after the invention of the electric railroad. Our director, Lonnie Dale, said it was quite an effort that day by the Orange against Union. Wake Forest plays from its 39. Walford airing it out, looking for Bachman, and a jump ball is broken up on the play by Lucas Dennis.
Intended for number 17, Alex Bachman, and falls incomplete. Second down, Wake Forest.
So Dennis, who came in with 3 pass breakups on the year, gets a 4th one there.
You know, we've seen a few times. I like the way that this secondary is coached. Jim Reed's defense in phase, sees those eyes get big, got to be careful not to run by, but go up and high point that football. Another good play by a cornerback for the Eagles.
Walford under duress by Landry, avoids, and now Wake's best offensive play of the day is the quarterback on the run, and he gets to the 48 of BC, and about 90 seconds to go.
Landry almost had him. Walford makes him miss. This is one thing that you don't get from Tolles. He's not a blazer, Walford. You know, he just kind of goes upfield, but you know, part of that too is a little bit of freelancing.
Cuts it loose and caught by Serenay. Ball at the 33 now. Cam Serenay's first catch, James.
Oh, and a nice one too. Walford putting it out there for his big tight end. And they're moving plenty of time with those 2 timeouts.
Straight drop again. He's going to take the deep shot. Incomplete. Looking for Tabari Hines, his sophomore wide receiver.
More on the coverage one more time. Tabari can go a little bit. Initially beaten. Just can't find that football. It was well thrown by Walford. Walford has made some good throws in this football game. A little bit more touch than we've seen from him at times. He's having a heck of a football game. They'd love to go into the halftime locker room with something to show for it. Watch out for Landry. He's been back there sniffing each time. He's been so close to getting another sack.
Second in the full 10. Got to get rid of it quick, and overthrows Bachman. James, this is a little out of Wake's personality to go with tempo, but it is playing to the at the quarterback spot.
Well, you have no choice. I mean, I don't care what your offense is. You've got to have a 2-minute O, and they're up over the ball, and it's, you know, it always seems to work when you change it up on a team. In Boston College, they're dealing with a team right now that's rolling until that pressure and that pass, but they've got to keep it moving. They got to get some points on the board. Had such a tough time moving the ball in the first half.
His numbers aren't great, 6 of 15 for 32 yards. And this time in traffic, trying to find Serenay across the middle. And William Harris, the big safety. This is an outstanding looking youngster at 6'2", 202, just a sophomore from Sewanee, Georgia.
Yeah, again, well coached. William Harris, he doesn't give up. Initially, he's beat. The blitz was on. It was a nice play call because everybody vacated. Those linebackers, they're usually all the junk in the middle. They're gone. But William Harris comes through and breaks it up. How many times have we seen a guy on defense for Boston College come back and break up what looks like going to be a completion?
This would be a career best for Mike Weaver, who had a 50-yarder 2 years ago against Clemson. This is 51. No good. So the Deacons are turned away on a missed field goal by Mike Weaver of 51 yards. And Wake runs 7 plays and misses the try. And now here in the final 46 seconds of this first half, it's still a 10-0 game.
Well, and you'd like to say, hey, there's a lot of football to be played, and there is. There's a whole half and a lot can happen. But points at a premium. Boy, would it have felt better to go into that locker room at halftime with a nice 3 on the board and get that goose egg off of there. Only scored 3 points the entire 4 quarters against BC last year.
And the first down give, and this is Davon Jones. And he is the redshirt freshman from Worcester. And as James told you, prep defensive back. Didn't know what it was like to take a handoff until last spring. And now he'll go out and Hillman will return, and the clock just moves here in our final 20 seconds of this first half. The 2 Wake Forest turnovers are the difference in the ball game. It's produced all 10 points. And that will be it. Patrick Tolles and the Eagles will head to the locker room. And they've got a lead for Steve Adazio, a win, and Boston College is bowl eligible with their 6th victory of the season.
Well, I mean, he's going to give it everything he has. I mean, it'll take everything you can draw up to keep him out of this game. But it's just, there was one point a couple weeks ago where he actually told his offensive coordinator, Warren Ruggiero, if you look over at me on the field and my arm is down on my side, don't call a pass play because I can't lift my shoulder and throw it.
By the way, of note, Wake will play with the wind at their backs here in the 3rd. And this kick will not be returned. Willis just watches it sail over the top. And time for our works carrying the load. And the Deacon defense has pressured Patrick Tolles today.
Yeah, Elko, a couple blitzes drawn up, and there's a good guy. If you can get even close to him, he's going to really cause some confusion in the backfield. And there was a couple nice ones. Thomas Brown, the former safety, getting back there and dropping him. And Patrick Tolles, when the trouble collapses around him, he really has a tough time moving and buying himself some time. It's going to be an interesting first drive and a big one if Boston College can march a little bit.
Davon Jones, right side. Picks up about 3, maybe a step more. Thomas Brown, who you just spoke of, James, makes the stop. He had 8 tackles in the loss at Florida State. Davon Jones, boy, he looks pretty good. I'm excited to see where that guy goes, huh?
Well, he's got a chance to be that complete back that they're looking for. You know, a healthy Hillman could be that complete back. A Davon Jones with some birthdays under him and some experience at running back, maybe. Instead, they're just changing backs in there just about every other play.
Wildcat for Jeff Smith. Trying to get to the far side, and boy, the Deacons played it well. Bates shot through first, and then Brown again makes a play behind the line.
Fantastic job by Thomas Brown to beat his block, and he's going to be the guy 26 that comes back and shuts down the end, turns him back in, he makes the tackle. Even if he hadn't made that tackle, nowhere else to go for Jeff Smith but back where the other 10 black hats are coming from. Brown goes ahead and just finishes it off. A good job by the big playmaker on the field for Boston College, 6 of them, shutting them down.
BC's 2 of 8. This is 3rd and a dozen now. Tolles back in at quarterback. Moves to his left, and he'll turn it up the field and be well short of the first down. And it was Julian Jackson that got there. 42 for the Deacons off that defensive end spot, Jen.
Well, Wes, just want to let you guys know the energy here in this Wake Forest sideline has been really good ever since they came out a little bit early. Strength and conditioning coach Brandon Horrigan getting all the guys out there, yelling at them to get warmed up, get fired up, ready to go. The defense was fired up to get out there, try to get a takeaway. They didn't do that, but they did get a big stop here on Boston College's first series.
Showed 10, rushed 4 on Mike Knowles' punt. And Bates to his left handles the fair catch at the 39, and that's where Wake Forest will get started. A 33-yard punt into the wind from Mike Knoll. And so now John Walford and the Deacons, who James did put up 128 yards on 34 plays, and that was 70 more in 5 more plays than Boston College. So let's see what number 10's got for us here in the second half.
Well, and you saw the frustration from his head coach, Dave Clausen, about his receivers not making plays. And I think John Wolford has done a good job of putting the ball up there on these one-on-ones. Just ball skills. Go get the ball is what he's saying, and what's been frustrating for him.
False start. Offense, number 17, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Receiver out of Moore Park, California. Second penalty he's committed today.
After 2 3-9 seasons, they finally they take that next step and make it to a bowl game here. They sit looking, trying to get win number 7. The way they've done it, no turnovers and no penalties. And they've had their fair share of both here already in this game. And that's not how you wanted to start this second half first drive.
Carney tries to break free and almost did. Moore with a shoe top tackle after a gain of 6 on first down.
Well, the freshman, he sure doesn't play like a freshman. He plays like a hard-charging senior that's playing in his last game. Won't get to see the end of it. Quick to the snap. And again, a one-on-one. Again, ball skills. A good job defensively. This time, it's Milano covering the receiver. Bachman on the wheel route. Milano's a linebacker able to stay with him there.
Great effort by the senior.
It's great effort, and it's also good technique. They snap that head around. They go up after that football. You'd like to see a few of these balls picked off, but first things first, don't give up the big plays. Put your head down, run to get back into phase. Excellent job, and it's a well-coached defense. Let's see if they can get off the field on third now.
Wake is just 1 of 8 today on third down. This is third and the full 4 for the Deacs. Walford wants to throw, now will slip it out here. Carney juggled it and dropped it. Pressure coming from Schwab, the weak side backer, on Cade Carney, the freshman.
Who's going to make the big play? That was the question that Dave Clawson had to Janet at halftime coming back out of the locker room. Who's going to make it? Colbert, are you going to make it when you have it in your hands on third down? You can go convert. There's your chance. No, he doesn't make it. Cade Carney as well. Your quarterback buys some time, able to get it out there to you. It's a drop. You know, how bad do you want it? Boston College is playing defensively like they certainly want it, and your own team is playing like they want it defensively. Who's going to make a play on offense?
4th and 4, and the punt from Maggio. Kind of a knuckleball at Rouse. It'll finally take a Wake Forest bounce toward the 16, and that's where the Eagles' second possession of this half will begin. Getting a little cool as the sun sets in the Twin Cities. BC scrimmages from its 16. Play fake to Rouse. They get it in the hands of Smith. And he'll be tackled behind the line. The ball came loose. Bates says he has it. And let's see if Epperly and his crew, they're going to give this to the Deacons. They do. Steve Adazio wants to see a replay, James.
All right, here we go, the end of it. Smith, ball was thrown low and hard and behind him. There's Bates on the tackle. The knee is down and the ball is still in his hand, and I don't think that because it's obvious that it should be Boston College's football anyway. A second down coming up.
Tom DeJoseph is the replay official here today in Winston-Salem.
At least they've got Rick Astley playing. Everybody awaits this call. It was a good pick.
Here's referee Epperly, thank goodness.
After review, it was determined the runner's knee was down before the ball was tripped. Therefore, Boston College will retain the ball, 2nd down and 13 at the 13-yard line. The clock will start on my signal.
All right, one more look at it, and it's the right call. Good job. They got it right up in the booth, and it's a tough one on the fly. There you see vision blocked by that official back behind. But it is a loss, so it's 2nd down now after you lose a couple of yards and 13.
Gentleman in the backfield, Tolles wants to throw. And they get it in the hand of Smith, and he couldn't hang on long enough because Jesse Bates was there to wrap him up. And very quickly, 3rd in the Baker's dozen. And BC is just 2 of 9 on 3rd down. So, James, we've got 2 schools now that have combined to go 3 of 18 on 3rd down. This is eerie to last year's game. Just in terms of the way they go, they bunch each other up at one end of the field, and then the turnover or a big play changes the momentum completely.
That one finished 3-0 though.
Tolles, and incomplete, looking for Walker. Sophomore couldn't hang on. Boston College will punt.
There's Walker at a nice catch earlier, just across the middle, and you know, probably a ball that more times than not Walker's going to hang on to, but still, it's put it out there and lead him a little bit. It's, you know, if he does catch it, he's going to have no chance to turn it up and go make a play because you've stopped his momentum.
And the left-footed punt by Knoll into the wind. Bates will field it at midfield and nothing else. So the ball at midfield for Wake Forest. And we told you a moment ago, Corey McCartney, who's on ACC All Access Weekly with Olivia Harlan. James, this is his new book called The Heisman Trophy, the story of an American icon and its winners. Corey goes back and does research about guys who talk about what they decided they were going to say when they won the Heisman, the history of how maybe they won it, their story leading up to it. It's available online and, of course, in bookstores around the holiday season. So we wanted to tell you about Corey's new book, and I think you'll find it fascinating about some of the speeches in particular.
I'll definitely check it out. Played with a Heisman Trophy winner myself and Danny Warfel, a great guy. Anxious to see what he said.
Wolford shoots it to Serenay for 12 yards and a 1st down for Wake Forest at the Boston College 38.
That'll work after a good field position to start this drive. Nice completion to the big man Serenay, who's had a couple nice catches over the middle.
7 of 19's John Wolford throwing the ball for 50 yards.
There's Harold Landry up top now. We saw him so many times there in the 2nd quarter, lined up down at the bottom. He's on the right side of the defense now.
And there's Carney digging out about 5 yards on 1st down to the 28. Schwab and Zach Allen, number 2 there for Boston College. You know, BC's had these guys. Abdus Mod, remember him? You know, they've had these guys in the past. And Wojak, good heavens, he was always in the backfield. But seemingly they just got him in catalogs up there at Chestnut Hill.
Well, they lose some good guys up front, but they also lose a great guy on the sidelines in Don Brown, who's now at the University of Michigan. A tough loss for his Wolverines today to the Buckeyes.
They load and throw, and that time Hines catches the hot route on the slant, James, for a 1st down at the 26 in front of William Harris, the safety.
Well, and a good job this time hanging on. So many times we've seen that defender come in there and able to rip that football away, but a nice strong grip that time by Hines to secure it and move those chains one more time.
First catch of the day for Tabari Hines. He's the Deacon leader in receptions, now with 34 on the year. 5 minutes gone here in the 3rd. Carney. And a pickup of about 4.
Number 36, Cade Carney.
The way this,
the linebacker there, James.
Wes, the way this offense operates, give me that. Give me 3, give me 4. on first down every single play. I mean, and when you get a little something going on the ground, it sets up play action pass. It sets up so many things you can do. Usually Boston College, in all 5 of their wins, they've held their opponents to under 50 rushing. They've been able to shut it down. And there was almost 100 yards rushing for Wake Forest at halftime here today. So Wake Forest able to punch the ball there in the middle and get a few.
Here's Walford on the keeper. He'll dive inside the 10 to the 9, first and goal.
Walford getting crafty there on the nice read, and it's the right read, and that's the heady play of the big Walford. And you see who he was reading on was Harold Landry. Landry jumps in. There have been a couple times when you've got such a big playmaker like a guy in Harold Landry, there have been a couple times where he's been almost too quick, and it's hurt him a little bit. But you're willing to roll the dice on him because he makes so many things happen. He's such a big game changer.
First and goal inside the 9 or inside the 10 at the 8, and here's Carney. And he'll get 2, maybe 3. Goodapple, the defensive tackle. Approaching 100 career tackles is the senior from Harrison, Ohio, Truman Goodapple. John Walford, James, has got 125 of Wake's 183 yards of offense today.
Well, and now his buddies up front, that offensive line that has to have so much respect for him. Tyler Hayworth and company, they're starting to win that dogfight there in the trenches, the defensive line, offensive line. Right now, they've been throwing the first punches there.
They're looking to throw. End zone, incomplete. Johnson and Hines collided there. Some of the partisans here at BB&T Field wanted pass interference on the Boston College safety, and the head coach of the Deacons certainly does.
Well, let's take a look at it. Yep. John Johnson got away with one right there. He came over with that backside arm a little bit early, and the flag could have been thrown. Very close. Third down, though, nonetheless. 3rd and goal.
Longest possession of the day for the Deacons. Back to the end zone. Serenade.
Well, he's such a nice route runner. There you saw him lined up, and nobody must have gotten a hit on him because just allowed to run scot-free in the back of the end zone. Walford finds him.
Extra point by Weaver is good. How about Coach Clausen's daughter, Courtney? Living and dying on every snap. Hang in there, Courtney.
Yeah, she's a senior in high school here. There you
Dad's
go.
team is on the board. Back to Winston right after this.
With a Walford to Serenay completion, Wake on the board now. Okay, so it's man coverage, Strahan on Serenay. Serenay's going to run an inside route. It's man coverage, but watch now, you'll see Strahan. He'll fall for that outside little cut. He falls in a big way, and the one thing you can't do, especially in that situation, is give up that inside throw. You've got to be there in position to cut off that inside cut. He falls for the okey doke, a nice route run by a guy who certainly looks healthy in this one, in Cam Serenay. And a nice job by Walford in the offensive line to give him time to get it to him.
And the kick by Weaver. Willis will touch a knee. Rouse had to litigate a little bit, but BC plays from its 25, Jen.
Well, that touchdown catch by Cam Serenay gives me a chance to tell, I'm not going to lie, it's one of my favorite stories because not everybody, has a pig named after them, but Cam Serenay sure does because special teams and tight ends coach Adam Shire's wife just happens to be a vet. They have 15 animals living in their home at the moment, ranging from a chameleon, a bearded dragon, a pig, cockatoo, a hedgehog, and the pig's name, Ham Serenay.
Yeah.
Why did I know Bates would love this story?
Oh, man.
Here is Davon Jones.
You think they'll ever eat ham sandwich?
No, stop it, see?
There you go.
Let's go
Wolford
back
was
to the
looking
throw.
the other way, and there's the throw, and that's an easy one for a quarterback.
Jen, please tell me that's not an option.
Batesy, guess what? I asked about that. Guess what they had on Thanksgiving?
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did. They ate ham.
No.
But not that ham.
Oh. I hope not. Wow.
Smith in the Wildcat now, the converted quarterback. And Willis trying to get to the edge. And it'll be 3rd and about 3 for BC. Grant Dawson at a Ronald Reagan High School in Pofftown, North Carolina. James, Pofftown's a suburb of Winston-Salem up near Tobaccoville.
Okay.
Yeah, right up 52. Like you're going to Mount Airy, Pilot Mountain. Up there where you would say Mayberry would be.
Okay.
Yeah, like going that way. North,
Okay.
yeah. Just helping you. You know,
No,
from
no,
time to
you
time, I got
You are helping me. I've never been up there.
Pofftown. 4 of 20, the two teams on 3rd down.
Boy, they need one right here. All the momentum with the guys in the black unis.
Ball got deflected at the line. I believe Big Yabari got it. Willie Yabari, the defensive tackle who rotates with Banks and Stewart in that front for Mike Elko on defense.
Well, Steve Adazio, if nothing else, just needed a first down there to buy some time and get a little bit of the groove back. And Yarberry doing a good job. He was double teamed. The separation gets that paw up there. Mirror technique to bat it away. Big stop for the Deacs on defense.
Only 7 yards of offense for Boston College in quarter 3. And Bates off 2 hops. And it'll belong to Wake Forest at the 35. Deacons trail by 3. Back to Winston-Salem in a moment. Boston College a field goal lead on Wake Forest. Deacons have the ball though. Playing from their 35. Coming off the touchdown drive, Walford throwing his 6th TD pass of the year to Cam Serenay. Deep shot now, looking for Hines again. And there'll be a flag there. Harris, the safety.
Pass interference on the defense. Number 8, 15-yard penalty, first down.
The thing, see, William Harris again, they have done such a good job of raking away those arms, just ripping through. That's what they're taught. But the problem is with William Harris, he never snaps that head around.
Right.
And that's one thing they've done. They've been beat. The secondary of Steve Adazio's has been beat several times, but they've recovered. And they played the good technique in the catch-up mode, but you got to snap that head around or you'll get a flag every time, and it's a good call.
3 receivers, a tight end, and Colbert. 2nd and 10, or 1st and 10 after the penalty, and John Walford on the keeper. Strahan, the linebacker, hit him square after about a gain of 4. And there's John Walford. Been a lot of good quarterbacks at Wake Forest. Nobody else has done that. 1,500 passing, 500 rushing in the same year.
You know the stat, the big old heart there on number 10. He was hit at the line, maybe a gain of 1, and he drove a couple defensive linemen on that last play. He's one of my favorite players in college football, and I'm not blowing smoke because we're sitting here.
Look at Colbert. That's a first down. Got around the edge, and Johnson, the safety, had to come up and make the play, James. Is Wake finding a little rhythm here?
Absolutely they are, and the offensive line is doing a great job of winning some of these battles. There you saw Wyatt Ray getting blocked there, and here comes the safety, John Johnson. Defense that is not used to this. They're not used to getting run on a little bit, and right now all the momentum with the hometown team. Wake Forest trying to battle back after being down 10-0.
146 yards on the ground for the Deacons. Walford going to tee it up, looking for Cortez Lewis. Touchdown, Wake Forest. guy who's got a million handshakes just caught a moonshot from his quarterback.
And a beautifully thrown football for Cortez off the hand of John Wolford, who time and time again today has put a nice touch on the ball and given his receivers opportunities to go make plays. Finally, they're starting to do just that.
Wolford has thrown for 2 scores in less than 3 minutes, James, and given Wake Forest the lead.
Big 37-yard. There's one of those great handshakes. Look at him. A little bit of flash with the assistant coach. And 109 yards against Florida State. Big career high for the sophomore. That's a great big one in this game as they're trying to get to win number 7 here this afternoon.
And it's our Honda Generator power play. 7th touchdown pass of the year.
Starts up front. Time for Wolford. Plenty of time. Puts it up there for Lewis. Lewis might have gotten away with a little bit of a push off there to separate. No flag. Watch. Actually, from that angle, it doesn't look like that at all. Just 2 guys fighting, hand fighting a little bit. Good no call and a good catch. It was Yaidam on the coverage. And they're on that drive anyway. Playing with fire, these defensive backs a couple times who they've fought their way back into position, get beat, one with the penalty and then with the big touchdown.
Well, you see the 111. John Wolford, 4 of 7, 61 yards and 2 scores. And all of a sudden, Wake Forest leads for the first time today. Willis is dangerous. Out to the 28 goes Miles Willis, who's 6th in the ACC at almost 24 yards a return, and he has a touchdown, 2 in his career, 1 this year against Syracuse, Jen.
Well, Wes, even before Wake Forest scored its first touchdown in this game, Miles Willis was over there on that Boston College sideline talking to his offense saying, it is on us. He knew they had the lead at the moment, but I think he also sensed it wasn't going to be enough, that they'd have to come back out and make things happen. Now we'll see if he can make good on his word.
Here's Patrick Tolles and the Eagles. Play fake on first down, looping for Davon Jones and missed him. Steve Adazio, 56 years old, living and dying on every snap, James.
You've got 2 good defenses going, battling it out. And the difference right now, the difference of 14 to 10 is the quarterbacks. John Wolford is playing a better football game than Patrick Tolles. Offensive lines are fighting for him. That's a throw that has to be made again. And I hate to beat up on the kid, but we've seen it too many times.
And that was headed for Walker. And broken up. Calhoun might have gotten it at the line, and Brad Watson, who's playing in his final game here in Winston-Salem.
And here's a good defensive play to come back and break up that ball. We've seen some good play from the secondary on both sides, both teams here this afternoon. And now with the 3rd down and 10, this isn't a situation that you love to be in for Boston College, and be careful with it. Don't force it and turn it over. Still a lot of football left here this afternoon.
Tolles has only thrown for 28 yards on 6 of 18. Now he'll scramble. Flag down. He'll have the first down out to the 40-yard line. Okonye, the tackle for Wake Forest, the safety. And this could very well be a huge play in the game.
Adazio had the look that you get when you go flying by a cop who's parked over on the side of the highway. Please don't.
It's against Wake Forest, I think.
Holding on the defense, number 25. That penalty is declined. Result of the play is first down.
He had the look of what? The guy you ride by the cop on the highway, James?
Yeah, you're like, oh, please, please, not me, not me, not me. Please be on them is what he's thinking. Look at this. This is what Boston College needs. This is what they got out of Tolles last week against UConn. He finally decided, hey, nothing there. I'm going to tuck it. And I may not be a burner, but I can use this big body to go get us some yards. Yeah, the penalty was there, but the penalty doesn't matter. It's a first down in a big way. They needed it.
Willis on the edge. And knocked out of bounds near the 44. Markel Lee, Chris Stewart over there too, I believe.
That first down was enormous. I mean, every single bit of energy here at BB&T Field was on the side of Wake Forest. And here they come out and back it up with a first down play, nice positive chunk of change, and it's second down and 6. This is kind of getting back on schedule. And let's go back. This is a much-needed win. If they want to go bowling, Boston College has to win this football game.
Jones. And he'll be taken down after a yard to the 45. There's just not a lot happening now. Jabari Williams, number 6, came rolling out over there. There he is on James Bates' all-hair team.
And you can tell it's a South Florida guy. He's got the long sleeves on, and it's, it's chilly. But if you're playing, it's actually perfect weather if you're playing. But those South Florida kids, man, woo! They don't like a little bit of a chill. Off to the sidelines now with the nickel team in. They need 4.
Yep, Rouse is coming to game. To work with Tolles. Here come the Deacons. Smith on a slant. First down, Boston College. Best throw Tolles has made all day, James, on the slant to Smith.
Well, probably. It's right there, and I mean, we saw it incomplete earlier, and it's like the touchdown pass that we saw to Serenade. The easiest throw for the quarterback is right over the middle. And with Smith, a nice little shake to get the open lane and inside, and easier said than done, but you can't let those receivers, Serenade or a smaller body like Jeff Smith, to just run free across the middle. 2 big first downs now back-to-back for the BC offense.
7th play of the drive, longest possession of the day for the Eagles. Pressure coming, Tolles in the pocket, and he'll be sacked. Markel Lee. It'll be a loss of 3.
Well, there was no disguising it at all. Elko called the blitz. Lee, they walked up on the edge, and Tolles even knew where it was coming from, looking that way to go hot right behind him, but they were in his face too fast. And second sack for Markel Lee here today. Student of the game and a guy that Steve Addazio knew was going to be a big factor in this game. Said the best player on this defense, and some pretty good players wearing the black for Mike Elko today.
Tolles under duress again and sacked again. Chris Calhoun. He had 4 times last year, gets 1 here.
He's going to come underneath. See him separate again. Hands, get him off of it. Calhoun is a lot smaller, just 240, than that big offensive lineman. It looks like Lindstrom, a 300-pounder, blocking him. But if you separate, you keep him at bay, then you can chuck him and get off. But if you get in to where you're chest on chest, they'll own you.
Final minute of quarter 3, 3rd and 15 for the Eagles. Wake only rushes 3. Tolles gonna run. Gotta go a ways, and he'll be close. A yard short, I believe, at the 37 is Patrick Tolles.
And again, a nice decision. They drop everybody but 3, as you mentioned, Wes. He sees it right away, he tucks it and goes, and he does a great job too, great vision for the big man, of seeing Rouse and using his back to set up the block behind him and lunging forward. No sliding there for the big man when you're 260 pounds. Now can you get 1 yard? It's starting to get closer and closer to that 4th quarter, and an opportunity to go bowling or stay home. 4th down and 1, who wants it more right here?
Sweeney and Martin, the 2 tight ends. Play fake, Tolles, and a timeout or delay a game, let's see.
Delay a game.
Wow.
Offense, number 8. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
On 4th and 1, the 6th penalty of the day against Boston College. And that one, a costly one. And James, they were going to throw the football.
Wow. Oh, gosh, it just, you make a big play, and where we saw Wolford and company looked so sharp in the 2-minute back over the ball to end the first half, wasn't the case right there.
Well, in the span of 3 minutes, Walford threw it to Cam Serenay. Coach Clausen's daughter Courtney excited. And now the entire stadium after the TD to Lewis. Wake leads going to the final 15 in Winston. We open the fourth with Knoll hanging a punt up for Jesse Bates. And out of bounds at the 15 is where the Deacons will start. They lead by 4, Jen.
Just wanted to give you guys an update, Wes. The Wake Forest defense, the depth may be affected a little bit here because I've been told 3 players from the 2 deep now out of this game for Wake Forest. On the defensive line, you've got defensive end Paris Black, who is out. Free safety Desmond Wortham also out. And then corner Deontay Austin all out for the game for the Deeks.
All right, thank you very much. See how that affects their sub-packaging for sure, James. Here's Walford and the Deeks. Leading by 4 now. Into the wind here in the fourth. And Carney gets them started with about a 5-yard run. Zach Allen, the stop for BC. Well, once again, gritty, gutty, John Walford.
He's running into his own guys, too.
I just don't know what else to call him.
Can't get a break. Runs in the back of Serenay. There he is. Now he's all set. Nice pickup by the hard-charging Carney on first down to set up a 2nd and 5 here. Good blocking on that last play, by the way, by Phil Haynes, the right guard, just a sophomore, big 300-pounder. Right there.
Carney. Couple, it'll be 3rd and a couple. Ty Schwab to stop. Well, Jim Reed, you mentioned Don Brown, who left in the offseason, went to Ann Arbor to work for Jim Harbaugh. When DJ Durkin took the Maryland job, Jim Harbaugh was in the market for a coordinator, and he'd get the guy that ran the nation's #1 unit a year ago in Brown, and that Jim Reed came over from Iowa. He's done a very nice job, although changing philosophies. BC still had a lot of success here.
Yeah, I mean, they're right up where they feel like they belong. Big 3rd down coming up for them, and you used to get a lot of exotic blitzes out of Don Brown. Not quite as crazy, but still the same effect.
Carney won't get it. Zach Allen, a sophomore from New Canaan, Connecticut, playing in his 24th career game today, has been a factor in that front.
Again, another product here of Paul Pasqualoni, the defensive line coach. And you got to put a body on the big man. Zach Allen's come a long way. He's got a lot of football left to play there on the hill.
Rouse stands at the 28 here, James.
Return game has been a big factor. Bunch of punts blocked as well. They got the return on here, though, Boston College does.
Maggio skips it along the field turf. And it will roll dead inside the Eagle 30-yard line. Early stages of the fourth. 49-yard punt. Still a 4-point lead for the Deeks. Seems to me the next 12 and a half may have something to do with it. Tolles scrambling. And Patrick Tolles will get a first down on his feet out to the 40-yard line.
Patrick Tolles or Lamar Jackson?
Oh, now, wait a second.
I'm kidding, but where was this guy in the first half? And, you know, in the first half of the season, really. I mean, that's what they've been asking him to do. Tuck it and go. Nothing there. Go right now. Don't wait 2 more seconds for this Wake defense to surround you. That's exactly what they needed out of him.
I present to you, he did a lot of it in Ireland against Georgia Tech and then got away from it after that opening game. Here is Rouse turning the corner. Tyler Rouse into Wake territory to the 34. The safety, Jesse Bates, made the stop.
Charlie Callanan makes this happen by being patient. Had he been a split second earlier on his block on the edge, let's see if we can see it. Boom, right there. See Charlie Callanan come from the top and gets his head in front of Amari Henderson. Wow, that was so close to being a flag, but it wasn't a penalty. It was just the patience to wait and set it up. And Rouse, a guy who nobody else wanted, but went to that Temple camp back when Adazio was with the Owls. And they brought him to Boston College and gave him a scholarship.
Play fake Tolles. They'll just throw it out of bounds now. Neighborhood over there or not. Be careful, young lady.
See if you see that purple down there.
Yeah.
She's got that big purple coat on.
Tolles was winding that one up, Jen.
Hey, I picked a good time to come to the other sideline, I think.
I'll say you did. That was right where you were standing a few minutes ago.
It was.
I got faith in Jen. The goalkeeper in her saved that one. There you are.
You would have had to make a play on the back end of that, Hildreth.
Maybe so.
More you can do, right, James? Davon Jones and just hurdles for a couple. Grant Dawson, the linebacker, was in the mix for Wake Forest. Okay, James, 4-point game. We know both offenses struggle, okay? Both defenses are good units. If you're Dave Clawson or you're Steve Adazio, how are you going to manage this last 10-50? I know every possession's important, but you just can't dive it into the line 3 times and hope for the best, right?
Well, you're absolutely right. And you know, and BC has had some big plays finally the last couple drives. They need another big one here. But again, 10.5 minutes, you can't force it and turn it over. Give up a big play.
4 of 14 on 3rd down. Tolles rips it. The catch made Smith. He tries to stretch and he'll be short. He's going to be marked just short against Amari Henderson, the corner on the far side.
Oh, wow, he didn't get a very good spot. It didn't look like he reached that ball out there, but we're way up here. His knee must have hit. But now look at Tolles and company over that football for Steve Adazio on this 4th and short. There's Smith up top. They'll run that route ball, waiting on him. A nice, I don't know, I'd maybe go look at it. I'd go look at it if I'm Adazio, and they do look at all of them.
4th and 1. Remember on 4th and 1, they were going to throw it earlier. They're going to throw it here. Flags down. Tolles will try and turn the corner, and he will have the first down, but the marker's at the 35.
Yeah, it's got to be on Boston College here. It's going back.
Illegal shift on the offense. All 11 players never set. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
7 penalties, 50 yards. 2 big 4th down penalties, James.
All right, there you got Smith in motion. They're calling it an illegal shift, but it looked just like a plain old false start. Either way, you're going back 5 yards, and either way, it looks like Adazio wants to keep this offense in there. Be careful, Wake Forest now. Don't jump off sides and get them back into that 4th and 1 spot.
Well, now Tolles comes out here wide right, Smith in the Wildcat, and now a timeout taken by BC, their first of this second half.
Timeout, Boston College, their first full timeout.
Play clock was winding down on the Eagles. Big play when we come back. Deacons bringing the heat. Deep drop for Tolles. He will throw. Caught. First down, and that is Tommy Sweeney, the tight end, at the 12.
Boy, the Deeks brought the house, picked up nicely, and Tolles, given time, and he delivers on this throw. Lets it develop, the nice route run deep enough by Sweeney, and he pulls it in. What a huge conversion. After the timeout, Adazio time to think about it, trust in that defense if they don't get it, and now they've got a fresh set of downs as we go under 9 minutes.
Pistol look for Boston College. Willis in the backfield with Tolles. And he'll get the carry. Wendell Dunn, redshirt junior from Miami, former 8A All-State pick in South Florida, the tackle. And James, this is kind of what I was talking about with the way you work inside between the tackles, and if you're BC, the way you played the edges in this drive too.
Yeah, well, BC, they work in between the tackles. They try to anyway. That's their MO more than anybody.
Willis stays in the backfield. Deacons heated up. Tolles to Tommy Sweeney. What a catch for the touchdown. Brad Watson was right there, and Tolles put it on a rope to his tight end. And now Knoll to make it a 3-point lead for the Eagles. And the kick is good. James, we've had a bunch of big plays here in the second half.
4th down and 6, and Tolles delivers. The graduate transfer from Kentucky delivers on the next play in the back of the end zone to retake the lead. Total offense in that third quarter against a very good Boston College defense. And then Boston College, a couple great big conversions. The offense has played much better for the Eagles in the second half as well.
And there'll be no return for Armstrong. Well, you joined us here in the second half. The offensive units for the respective schools woke up, Batesy.
Yep, there's Wolford to Serenay, the big tight end with a nice touchdown to put him on the board after a 10-0 halftime lead. And there's a beautifully thrown football to Cortez Lewis from Wolford. And then how about Tolles? Man, you got to feel good for that kid. He's had such a hot and cold year, a tough game even in this one. It's been like 2 different guys here the first half compared to the second half.
Wolford going to flip it downfield in. Looking for Serenay, cannot haul it in. And Ty Schwab there in coverage for Boston College.
Oh, that had a chance too. Look at Serenay. He got hidden in there, and a good job by Schwab to even be there in the picture. To be lofted a little bit up over his head. Just off the fingertips of Serenay, and would have been another big one for the tight end. So it's good to see him healthy again.
Here's Wolford on the keeper. And he will pick up 6. It'll be 3rd down and about 4 as John Johnson out of the secondary. Schwab's playing that linebacking spot that Stephen Daniels kind of held for 3 years at Chestnut Hill, and he's done a very nice job. Jim Reed really talking up the play of Johnson through the year.
Yeah, he may not have the huge numbers. He's not always in there on the nickel, but he's been big, the junior from Merritt Island, Florida, where George the Animal Steel calls home. There's one for you.
Nice.
Big 3rd down now.
Landry, and Wake gets a free play. And Wolford took a moonshot to Hines that will go by the boards, and that's an offside call, I believe, on number 7 of the Eagles.
Offside, defense, 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
You see Adazio, yeah, he's upset, but you know what? You can't get too upset with number 7. That's what you get. I mean, he's so good at timing it up. He's so good at beating those guys, and he's had so many sacks. One of the best in the nation. You're going to get that every now and then. You just live to go play another one. Now, watch out. Number 7 is going to try to make up for it.
Wolford, and a back shoulder throw to Lewis, and a 1st down in Boston College territory. And all of a sudden, the Wolford to Cortez Lewis connection is open.
This is a nice throw. And again, Wolford, not just with his feet in this game, he's been very dangerous on the ground, but he's really impressed me with his passes, with his touch passes, where he's put it in situations. Cortez Lewis on the touchdown catch, and they're on the back shoulder throw. The pass is so tough to defend.
Carney going to take the snap here. Hands it to Hines. They'll flip it to Wolford. He's going to turn across his body. No, he's going to throw it out of bounds. John Johnson stayed home on the backside and blew the play up.
Well, if John Johnson isn't there on Wolford and he has a chance to get his feet set, watch up here. When all this comes down, watch running free. But the pressure was there, and Wolford just absolutely couldn't get it off. There was a flag down there.
2nd down. You didn't.
David Epperly and John Wolford talking about outside the pocket. And
now, here's what happens. The person to take the snap, those rules apply.
Right.
Grounding or not grounding rules apply. But when you're not the initial person to take the snap, you don't get those rules of just get it, throw it away. You're not seen as that initial quarterback here, and of course Carney on the Wildcat took that snap.
Right. So now all of a sudden, down 3 with 6.5 to go. Second and downtown for the Deacons. Pressure coming. Wofford in trouble. There's Landry. That time lining up on the left end.
I told you he'd make up for it. Man, are you kidding me?
James, I'm a believer in this first step.
Well, if you weren't, Landry will make you a believer. I mean, that's a slippery guy. And when you throw in the fact, could have been a flag there trying to get off early on him too.
Wofford in trouble. Now to the backside. Is he going to run? Yes. And Tabari Hines lowered the boom over there in front of the BC bench on Cameron Moore. There's no flag on the play that I see.
Yeah,
that's
could have been.
By the book, that's a block in the back. 13-yard gain. It's 4th down, and Maggio will punt. BC operating with a 3-point lead and 5.5 to go in Winston.
Let's see if they come after it this time. Wake Forest has had a few blocked, they don't.
Tyler Rouse is shaken up in the ball game, so Boston College has Michael Walker on this punt return. First time this year anybody other than Rouse has returned a punt, and Walker got a couple of yards out of it. And now, James, 5 minutes and change to play, and a 3-point lead for the Eagles, who need the win for 6 and bowl eligibility. 40-yard punt by Maggio.
Big Justin Fry, run game coordinator, getting in the ear there of Patrick Tolles and trying to get them revved up. See if they can eat up this clock and march it down a little bit at the very least. There's a look at Tyler Rouse, who Jen actually, not a report on camera, but told us there at a commercial break that he may not make it back in, ice on his knee, and well, he wasn't there for that punt return.
And so that trims the running back depth down a little bit, and there's Miles Willis a couple of yards on first down, and BC's going to be more than happy to let this 4th quarter clock start rolling. They've got 79 yards of rushing, 43 yards of passing in the second half today. There have been offensive flashes today. Not explosions, flashes, James.
Yeah.
Second down, let's call it 8. Smith trying to find an edge, cannot. No gain on the play. Markel Lee. Boy, both these defenses are fun to watch, Bates.
They are, and you know what? Markel Lee just ran down Jeff Smith, who's really the big playmaker, most explosive guy over there. And most of the time, that guy is going to get that corner turn. He's not going to let a linebacker run him down from behind, but showing you how special big number 8 is. Forcing a 3rd down and long now.
Hilleman has come in the ball game. And the second of the 3
timeout.
timeouts.
Boston College. Full timeout.
And I think the Eagles were flirting with delay of game again. Timeout in Winston-Salem, 4 minutes to go. Adazio's team by 3. And a late fumble, by the way, that led to the winning score.
3rd down and 10 now. What you got after that timeout?
Only 1 left to go for the Eagles, who lead by 3, and Tolles to throw. And Ejiofor. We've talked about Landry, but there's Wake's counter to Harold Landry on their defensive unit.
Boy, we've seen a lot of Landry in this game. Finally, Duke Ejiofor shows up. He'd been quiet for most of the day, and watch him come back underneath. A great move and a huge drop by a big playmaker.
Not a great punt by Noel. Bates will have to let it bounce. It does into the Eagle bench, and a plus field territory now for the Deacons and John Walford.
He's working on the left on Montero. Just swims him underneath, and it really almost got hung up. And nowhere to run for Tolles. So you needed 10, and you go backwards more than 10. And then, not a great punt. Look at all those sacks, 8 sacks by a couple really good defensive lines and linebacking units. So here we go, 3:25 left now. You've got a great defense and you're playing, trying to go to a bowl game. But John Wolford and company have been doing some good things in the second half.
Serenay, another big catch here in the second half. Picks up close to 5 on first down. Sometimes, James, the short throw, you've talked about the ones over the middle, but these 4- and 5-yard throws are oftentimes better than the run play.
Well, a lot of times in this day and age, that's what some of those short runs and the toss sweeps have turned into, just that. Just a little simple out there for Serenay, who really has looked good in this game, and haven't been able to say that a lot this season with his injury.
2nd down and 6, and Kearney will make it 3rd and about a yard as he digs inside the 35. Connor Strahan, the linebacker, made the tackle. Wake Forest is just 2 for 12 on 3rd down today, and the Deacons trying to quick snap it. Boston College here.
Right back over the ball. Kearney stood straight up, a loss of 2 though. Wow. There's Landry one more time. There in the backfield, penetration again by 7 West.
We heard about the first step. It's all that and more.
He just runs it. You know, they've done a good job of reading these blockers, the pullers, and just following them. They're going somewhere. 4th down.
Wake's missed on 2 4th down tries already today.
They've got 3 timeouts.
They snap it. Eagles coming. Wolford as he throws, and Tabari Hines the catch. John Wolford got blasted, but number 1 on the back end converts it.
They bring the house. Here's John Wolford for you. That is what he does. Stands in there and takes one for the team, and they keep moving.
Off play action, and there's Alec Bachman the catch. And about 3 or 4 yards on first down there for the sophomore.
How about the trust in their quarterback? They had 3 timeouts up there. They chose to rather keep this BC defense out on the field, not give them a chance to go talk it over with their coach. Put all the trust in their junior quarterback. The blitz comes, and he converts. Otherwise, this football game is probably over.
2nd down 7. Wofford's hit 50% for 124 today. Looking to take another shot. And finds Serenay, who falls out of bounds.
BC with some substitution issues. They finally get Bachman covered down way down here at the bottom of the screen. Otherwise, there wasn't a body on him.
You see the play clock. Pressure coming, and offline for Lewis. Isaac Yidam over there covering for BC. And now here is Weaver to try and tie it.
Got away with a hold Yidam did there. And it could have been an offensive push-off as well. Off for not, it doesn't matter. He's missed a 51-yarder.
Right.
Here today now has Mike Weaver.
He's 7 of his last 8, 9 of his last 11. This is 40 to tie the game. Kick away. No good. So a 40-yard try by Weaver. And Wake's got all 3 timeouts with 1:22 to go.
It's been a Wake Forest team that has had some tough things happen to them. Missed opportunities. What was going to be a big play? Back the other way. Offensive pass interference on Bachman. There's the 51-yarder. The miss from Weaver earlier today in the first half. Here's a chance just a few moments ago. And Serenay had a step on Schwab. They don't convert there. Was unable to finish a couple times.
And Boston College content to run it into the line off its 22. And a timeout by. Can ill afford to allow Boston College to pick this up, or the ball game essentially will end, won't it?
Well, there's not going to be much left, even with those timeouts.
And that's Davon Jones, and there's the second Dave Clawson timeout as Jones got to the 26. So it'll be 3rd down and roughly 6 for Boston College, but more importantly, 3rd and 6 for Wake Forest defense. And BC today is 4 of 16 on 3rd down. These two schools are 6 of 30 combined. Wake's won 3 of the last 5. A year ago, won 3-0 at Chestnut Hill. BC won 2 years ago here, 23-17. And 3 years ago, won 24-10. That man goes bowling if his team wins. They may go bowling in the APR 5-win world, but you want a little insurance.
Right. Rather than sneak in the back door, you've got to take care of the football here. Needless to say, Boston College.
And there's Hilleman, nothing. Last Dave Clawson timeout with 1:09 to play. And Mike Knoll will be punting with what is left of a breeze that has blown from left to right most of this afternoon.
And in a big way most of this afternoon. We've had the flags here in the stadium that have been starched at times. And right now it's died down a little bit, but there's giving them a free, cheap 1st down. And with that, you're going to set up the return. That's what I would do anyway. Let's see. They come after it, though, a little bit.
There'll be a flag. Bates caught it at the 37. And Knoll went to his left. And I think Wake's going to be flagged here.
Not if he went rugby style.
Right, and he did.
Well, then the rules don't apply. You're not protected anymore. Let's see. See, I don't know that he was necessarily. Oh my goodness, though. That's
Amari Henderson who made contact with Knoll.
Is he just running to get an errant snap, guys, or was he truly taken off in a rugby style punt that we've seen so many times? Because when that happens, you're no longer protected like you are like the normal punter.
And here's the other scenario. This is a 5-yarder, not the 15, so there's not a 1st down.
And that's why it scares me to come after him to begin with.
Running into the kicker on the defense, number 10. Penalty is declined. 1st down, Wake Forest.
Okay, so it would have been only 5 yards. And there would have been a whole repunt episode, and Adazio knows, hey, wait a second, I don't want to go through that situation again. So it's a 37-yard punt. Now out of timeouts and 1:04 to go for the Deacons. They need a field goal to tie, a touchdown to win this thing.
And that's a new spat job on the right ankle of John Wolford. And he didn't have that on there earlier. He's been dealing with those shoulder issues, ankle issues. Playing his guts out here for the Deeks again tonight.
Wolford going to throw if he can. Eluding the pressure, now we'll try and sail it toward Bachman. Incomplete. Clock will stop with 57 seconds left, and it's 2nd and 10. Turn the engines up quick.
And that was close. That was so close to being grounded because it almost didn't make it back to the line of scrimmage. Obviously outside the tackle box, but very close. There you see the ankle of Wolford, but lived to throw another down. 2nd down and 10 now. No timeouts left, under a minute to go.
Serenade just off the formation. 3 other receivers and Carney in there with Wolford. Pressure again, rips it for his tight end. Serenade pulled down inbounds. Not a 1st down. Clock will keep running. 47 seconds left. Milano the tackle. Deeks get to the line quickly. 3rd and 1. Wolford in trouble, can't take a sack, and did. Landry got to him. Back at the 40 now with a half minute to go. Wake Forest needs 7 yards. Clock at 20 seconds. Cuts it loose and intercepted. Lucas Dennis's first career interception. And Adazio and BC are going to get to 6 wins, James.
It wasn't the prettiest of football games, but it was an interesting and exciting football game. And yeah, you hate to see a loser when you see guys playing so hard. And on the Wake Forest side, John Wolford, Markel Lee, a couple of those guys, they're already going to their bowl, trying to upgrade a little bit here today if they move to 7 wins. But at the same time, I'm really happy for Steve Adazio, his staff, and for his kids. It's been a tough year for them, but to piece together 6 wins, this was a great big one for that guy right there.
Oh, I bet that's cold. So Steve Adazio and Boston College, who had their struggles throughout the year, but they ride that awfully tough defense to 6 wins and bowl eligibility.